Okay, so today we are going to understand reported speech. We call it direct indirect speech too. Let's understand what is it. When we want to tell someone what someone else said, there are two ways of doing so. You can repeat the person's words, that is called direct speech, and you can use reported speech, and that is called indirect speech too. If suppose I said something, I'm the first person and I'm speaking to something to second person. Okay, so whatever I spoke to the second person, if he or she conveys the same message to the third person, we will take it as reported speech. How would he say, if suppose I said something to Karan that are you okay? So Karan would, if Karan wants to say the same thing to somebody else, he would say, ma'am asked me if I was okay. Karan would not say that ma'am asked me, are you okay? He will not say the same words. You're getting it? He would change the language in his own one. Okay, so whatever we speak, if somebody else conveys the same message to the third person, we count it as reported speech. It's like to catch the air from this side or from this side, एक ही तरीका है. किसी बात को आप यहाँ एक कान को आप यहाँ से पकड़ो या इतना लंबा हाथ घुमा के यहाँ से पकड़ो, बात बराबर है. But the thing is कि we are just changing the words. For example, Tom said, I'm feeling ill. Tom said that he was feeling ill, or Tom told me that he was feeling ill. Look at the example. My favorite film is on TV tonight. I love comedies. Mrs. Brown said. Now, this is the sentence which is given over here is in direct speech. Direct speech. We are converting the same into indirect speech. Okay. So it would be like Mrs. Brown said. Now, अगर आपका नेम यहाँ नेम नहीं दिया हुआ है, we have taken the name on our अपनी मर्जी से लिया है. Mrs. Brown said. अगर Mrs. Brown नहीं होता तो we would have taken some other name. और अगर कुछ नेम नहीं होता तो we would have used she said. Okay. So Mrs. Brown said that her favorite film was on TV that night. She said that she loved comedies. Now, what all changes did we make? Just have a glance on it. Pronoun was my and I. We converted it into her and she because there was a female. अगर male होता तो it would have changed into him and he. Tense always will be converted into past. Am converted into was. Love converted into love. Now focus कि am आता है simple present tense में and was आता है simple past tense में. Okay. तो जैसा आपका डायरेक्ट स्पीच में टेंस होगा वैसा ही पास्ट आपका इनडायरेक्ट स्पीच में होगा. अगर यहाँ पे आपका सिंपल प्रेजेंट की जगह प्रेजेंट कंटिन्यूअस होता तो यहाँ पे आपका पास्ट कंटिन्यूअस होता. अगर लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में आपका प्रेजेंट परफेक्ट होता तो राइट हैंड साइड में आपका पास्ट परफेक्ट होता. Understood? So the same tense is given at the left hand side in direct speech. The same tense will be converted into the past one. Am I clear, everyone? Okay. Now the time words tonight converted into that night. In the reported speech, we preferably use the past tense. See, as I told just now, am is becomes was because it is simple present tense, so it will be converted into simple past tense. Are will be converted into were because are is present continuous tense, so obviously were is past continuous tense. Has have is present perfect tense, it will be converted into past perfect had. See becomes saw, can't becomes could not, and will and won't become would not. Do becomes did. Do is simple present tense, it will become past tense did. Am is doing become was doing. Are doing becomes were doing. Has have done becomes had done. Now overall thing is कि whatever is given in the present tense will be converted into same past tense. All right. If we want to report a sentence that is already in the past tense, we normally use the past perfect. Now you will ask if suppose I said something to Karan and it is already in past tense, then what would we do? We will convert that sentence into past perfect. For example, I saw the film last week. Fine, it is already saw in simple past tense. Then what would we do? We will convert the sentence into past perfect. He said that he had seen the movie the film the week before. Last week means the week before, the previous week, both things are okay. Okay, so this message says that if the sentence is already in past tense, but it must be simple past tense. If the sentence is already in past tense, it will be converted into past perfect always. Now the changes, what all changes do we do? Time now becomes then, today becomes that day, this week becomes that week, tomorrow becomes the next day, yesterday becomes the day before or the previous day, last week becomes the week before or the previous week. Both are okay. Here becomes there, this becomes that, these becomes those. These are the major changes. Now, some examples. You see, the first one, he said, I did this exercise last night. Now, let me show you the thing from the beginning. There are two sentences in one sentence, like it is divided into two parts. He said, then I did this exercise last night. Those sentences are. Okay, so he said, it will come into reporting verb. जो कॉमा से पहले वाला वर्ड्स होते हैं उसे हम रिपोर्टिंग वर्ब कहते हैं, बिकॉज somebody is reporting to someone. Okay, somebody is reporting to someone, तो we take it as reporting verb, और जो भी वो बोलता है we take it as reported speech. Okay, so the sentence was divided into two parts. The first part was the reporting verb and the another part is reporting speech. Whatever he spoke or she spoke, we count it as reporting speech. Okay, now see, he said I did this exercise last week, तो ये है direct speech आपका, because it has all the commas, inverted commas, full stops and everything. Now when we convert the same into the indirect speech, सबसे पहली चीज हम करते हैं, we remove all the commas and inverted commas. What do? We remove all the commas and inverted commas. Only full stop comes. Only and only full stop comes. उसके अलावा कुछ नहीं आता. Fine. You see, he said that he had done that exercise the previous night. Now you see, abhi just now we had one point, हमने एक point देखा था, that if the reported speech is in past tense only, past tense है तो it will be converted into past perfect. तो you see the example, ऊपर दिख रहा है, I did this exercise. Did is already in past tense. Did is already in past tense. अगर हम past tense को ही convert करते हैं तो you see it has been converted into had done. Can you see this? He said he had done that exercise the previous night. Now what all changes did we do? हमने he said लिखा है, then हमने he said के बाद that लगा दिया. Always we will use that. We will always use that. Fine. उसके बाद we removed all the commas and inverted commas. Then he had done. We use the past perfect tense, तो हमने had done लगाया. This becomes that. I did this exercise. This becomes that. तो वो this का हमने क्या कर दिया? That exercise remained exercise only. Last night has turned into the previous night. Okay? Last night को हमने क्या किया? The previous night. Just wait for a while. Okay, fine. So the next example says, the inspector said, I am glad to be with you today. Fine. The inspector said, I'm glad to be with you today. So how will we convert it? We'll start from the beginning. The inspector said, as it is, then we will add that over there. हमने वहाँ पे that भी लगाया. Then we removed all the commas and inverted commas. And now I will become he, because inspector is female, inspector is male. So we converted into he, and am become was. Am was बन जाता है because it is in simple present tense, so it has been converted into the past one. So the inspector said that he was glad to be with me that day. Today becomes that day. Okay, today becomes that day. I'm glad to be with you today. So he was glad to be with me that day. What changes did you notice? Now बहुत सारे changes हुए थे. Now what all changes were there? Omission of commas. मैंने बताया कि we will omit all the commas. We will use of that. We will use that, and we will change the pronouns. These three major changes always occurs while converting direct speech into indirect one. Next, a speaker's words can be reported into two ways: direct speech and indirect speech. Exact words of speaker, when we convey the exact words, that comes in direct speech. You see, the teacher said to Rajesh, you have a bright future. And now when Rajesh is converting the same message, when somebody else listened to it, किसी और ने ये बात सुनी और उसने कहा कि टीचर ने ये मैसेज दिया राजेश को, how would he do it? In that speech, what the speaker has said without using the exact words, the teacher told Rajesh that he had a bright future. You see, we removed all the inverted commas, we changed the tense, and we changed the pronouns. These three major changes always occurs while converting direct into indirect one. Change of tense. How do we do it? For doing this, for doing reported speech, you should be excellent in tenses. आपके tenses बिल्कुल perfect होने चाहिए. If the reporting verb in the direct speech, reporting verb, I told you that the first one, in example, you see, my friends say, it is reporting verb. My granny will say, it is reporting verb. All right? और जो brackets के, जो commas के अंदर है, वो है reporting speech. If the reporting verb in the direct speech statement is in present tense or future tense, then it remains same in indirect speech too. No change in the sentence. देखो, my friends say is present tense. तो अगर ऊपर प्रेजेंट टेंस है तो नीचे भी हमेशा प्रेजेंट टेंस ही आएगा. In reporting speech, I'm not speaking about reporting verb. Understand? I'm speaking about reporting speech. और अगर reporting speech के अंदर future tense है, you see the example will say. So it will remain as it is. When we will convert it into indirect speech. Reporting verb के अंदर, again I'm saying, if reporting verb is in future tense or in present tense, it will remain as it is when we will convert it into indirect speech. Example, my friends say he is very handsome. My friends say that he is very handsome. Now you people can ask कि why did not I change is को मैंने was क्यों नहीं किया? You may ask this कि he is very handsome को मैंने he was very handsome क्यों नहीं किया? Because he is very handsome is the truth. Fine, he is very handsome is the truth. तो generally जब universal truths या truths या statements आते हैं तो we don't change tense. Just like we do in present tense, हम जैसे simple present tense में नहीं होते करते, जैसे the earth revolves around the sun, तो we can't change it. I mean, हमें ऐसे थोड़ी बोल सकते the earth is revolving around the sun. It is a universal truth. It will remain as it is. So just like that, whenever we have general truths, whenever we have statements, whenever we have universal truths, it will remain as it is while converting into indirect speech. That is why I did not change he is wala is. Next, my granny will say, you need to eat well. Again, it is a statement. Zaruri hai. Okay. So my granny will say that you need to eat well again. All right. If the reporting verb is in the past tense in the indirect speech, in the direct speech, then the verb within the commas will undergo corresponding changes into the indirect speech statements. This language may look quite tough, but you understand with the help of the paragraph. Simple present tense becomes simple past. Simple things hai. Zyada dimag mat lagao. Understand. The girl said the flower is pretty. Now the girl said is the reporting verb and it is in simple past tense. ये past tense में है. तो past tense will remain as it is. वो past ही रहेगा. देखो. The girl said that the flower was pretty. Fine. Present continuous becomes past continuous. This we have already understood. The old man said the rain is falling heavily. The old man said that the rain was falling heavily. What did we do? We just changed the tense of it. Is falling, was falling. Is pretty, was pretty. Present perfect becomes past perfect. You see, the principal said all the students have passed. Now, what did we do? The principal said that all the students had passed. Has become had. Has ho chahe have ho, had ban jayega. Simple past, Rohan said Sheetal arrived yesterday. Past perfect, Rohan said that Sheetal had arrived the previous day. Yesterday becomes the previous day. Model changes into their past forms. Now, अब जब भी models होंगे, models like can, may, might, will, shall, all these will become to the past tense. देखो, can will become could, will become would, shall will become should. Okay, so he said she can dance. He said that she could dance. Can was a model and I changed it into its past form. Personal pronouns changes according to SON formula. SON, son formula. How does it work? First person is son, is subject. Second person is the object. And third person is no change. It means, if subject of the quoted verb is in first person, then it will be changed according to the verb. Agar first person hai, jaise, he said to me, I like coffee, and I is the first person. Example check karo. He said to me, I like coffee. So I is the first person. Fine. So first person will change into the second person. Now dekho. He told me that he liked coffee. I को हमने first person में change, second person में change कर दिया. Second point. If subject of the quoted words is in second person, then it will change according to the object. अब वो object के according होगा. जैसे he said to me, you look happy. So how would I change it? He told me that I looked happy. मेरे बारे में बात कर रहा है तो मैं मेरी बात करूंगी. तो I looked happy. If the subject of the quoted words is in third person, then there will be no change. जैसे he said to me, she has already left. I mean, he said to me that the other person has already left. When the second person is talking about the third person, then it will remain as it will remain unchanged. Example, he told that she had already left. Subject, the first person. देखो, I said I want to consult my parents. I said that I wanted to consult my parents. You said I want to consult my parents. You said that you wanted to consult your parents. She said I want to consult my parents. She said that she wanted to consult your parents. Her parents. Understood? है सारे first person ही, but we are changing it according to the thing. If I am speaking about me, I will use my word. If I am speaking about the second person, I'll use he and she. If I'm speaking about the third person, it will remain unchanged. Object, second person. Anil said to me, your parents are waiting for you. Anil told me that my parents are waiting for me. Same thing if Anil is speaking to somebody else, you see. Anil said to you, your parents are waiting for you. Anil told you that your parents are waiting for you. And now, when Anil is speaking to somebody else, you see, Anil said to him, your parents are waiting for you. And Anil told him that his parents were waiting for him. Third person, no change. I said to you, he should be trusted. So I told you that he should be trusted because I'm speaking about the third person and third person remains unchanged. She said she's looking for a job. She said that she was looking for a job. Again, it's a third person. I'm speaking about the third person. So it will remain unchanged. Now changes of the verb. I told you, ये सारी चीजें पहले आ चुकी, but I'm just repeating it. This becomes that. Today becomes that day. These becomes those. Now becomes then. Here becomes there. Tomorrow becomes the following day or the next day. Yesterday becomes the previous day or the day before. Tonight becomes that night. Interrogative sentences. अब interrogative sentences क्या होते हैं? Interrogative sentences are, I told you, there is a question mark. If I ask you, now understand. If I ask you, where do you live? अगर मैं आपसे पूछती हूँ, where do you live? I will put a question mark after that. Fine, because I am asking a question to you. And if I ask the same person without putting a question, how would I say? I said, where you, she asked me where I lived. All right, to understand. A question is changed into a statement. What do we do if there is a question in the direct speech? अगर आपके question direct speech के अंदर एक question है, and if we are converting the same into indirect speech, we will remove all the commas, inverted commas, as well as question mark. Question mark भी हट जाएगा. It includes interrogative sentence includes who, where, and what. You see, who, where, and what. Now understand. In a direct yes or no question, reporting verb is changed into ask and inquire or if or whether. Understand? She said, "Are you writing a poem?" तो she said to me. किससे पूछा? She said to me. If there is nothing written over there, अगर कुछ भी लिखा हुआ नहीं होता है तो हम अपने पे लेंगे. तो she said to me, "Are you writing a poem?" How would I convert it? She asked me whether I was writing a poem. Now understand. Chinmay, don't sleep. She asked me whether I was writing a poem. Understand? अब देखो, she said के बाद यहाँ क्या लगा हुआ है? Are. Are को we have taken as a question. Generally we do. हम करते हैं जब हम who, where, what नहीं लगाते हैं, हम helping verb से ही question बना देते हैं. तो what do we do? हम क्या करते हैं? हम अगर मैं पूछूं तुमसे, you are happy. If I'll write a question mark over there, so it will become a question. But exactly, if I want to make it a question, how would I ask? Are you happy? So what did I do? I just exchanged helping verb. मैंने इसकी आगे पीछे place कर दिया. So whenever your question is starting with a helping verb, understand, whenever your question is starting with a helping verb, we will always use if and whether. Whenever your question is starting with a helping verb, we will always use if or whether. इसके अलावा कुछ काम में नहीं लेंगे. और इसके अलावा अगर ये तीन चीजें दे रखी है, who, where और what, it will remain as it is. वो वही रहेगा. Understand? Example, हमारे पास यहाँ helping verb दे रखी है are. How did we change it? We used where, whether. हमने are को हटा दिया and what did we do? We added whether in spite of using are. She asked me whether I was writing a poem and I removed question mark also, because now it is no more a question. Now it has turned into a statement. Okay. Next example. I said to him, "Do you know when she will go to home?" अब do भी क्या है? Helping verb है. Again the helping verb. Whenever we are using helping verb, we will use if or whether. For example, now I'm converting it. I asked him if he knew when she would go home. एक एक चीज देखो, what all things did I change? I changed do turned into if, you turned into he, no turned into knew, she as it is, will turned would, go home as it is. In case of question like who, how, where, etc., these words will remain as it is. Example, where do you live? She asked me. तो she asked me where I lived. Because यहाँ पे हमने WH word use में लिए हैं question mark के लिए. Next one. He asked, how do you write poems? He asked me how I wrote poems. No change. It will remain as it is. Imperative sentences. Now, what are imperative sentences? Imperative sentences are always please, orders, advice. Okay. So whenever we have an imperative sentence in direct speech, you see in imperative sentences, reporting verb is changed into ask, advise, request. Tense हमेशा same रहेगा. Example, I said, take your seat. Fine. So I asked him to take his seat. Always we will add TO2. You see, this TO2 will be added always while converting imperative sentences. He said, give me some food, please. इसका आंसर होगा he asked me to give him some food. Please हट जाएगा. Because हमने ask की please की जगह end में requested लगा दिया था. What changes in a reported speech? Again, एक sentence को when we convert it into reported speech, what all changes do we have? The verb, we change the verb. The pronouns and the possessive adjectives. some adverbs जैसे now, then and all these things. Example, I'm watching my favorite program now. How would I say? Tom said that he was watching his favorite program then. Now turned into then. Verb, again the same thing. This is just the recapitulation, whatever I spoke. Present simple turns into past simple. Past simple turns into past perfect. Present perfect turns into past perfect. And future will remain would. Future यानी will be turned into would always, because will is a model और model हमेशा past में change हो जाते हैं. I saw a snake. She said that she had seen a snake, because saw becomes had seen. She will come. He said that she would come. Will become would, because models की past tense आती है. Thank you. This is it from my side. Wait for a while.